We are trying to get more people aware about the Energy East pipeline, which is a pipeline that comes from Fort McMurray in the tar sands, and it's going to traverse across Canada all the way to New Brunswick. And it is going to be, like I mentioned, it's a tar sand pipeline, so they're looking to carry 1.1 million barrels of bitumen across our entire country every single day. And this project, its lifespan, they want to have it running for 40 years. So imagine that every single day for the next 40 years, it's going to be 1 million barrels, 1 million barrels, 1 million barrels, putting us all at risk and kind of locking us into this form of energy for a future when we're at a time where we need to be transitioning to a low carbon economy. For sure. I think some of the most important reasons why this pipeline should never go through is, one is because the impacts to the climate. We know that we need to keep this tar sand oil in the ground. We don't have much space left in the atmosphere to keep on pushing this stuff out if we want to keep our globe under a 2 degree, under a 3-4 degree increase in global average temperature. And so we're at a time where we know we should be putting this out, so we shouldn't be locking ourselves in for the next 40 years. This is a time where we need to be coming up with and like embracing and going full force into green energies and green technologies and not polluting with fossil fuels and with bitumen. And another reason is to protect our waters and lake. If we're putting 1 million barrels every single day of bitumen that's flowing under every single river from Fort McMurray to New Brunswick, that's every watershed in our country, and that's what we live on and what is so necessary and fundamental to life. So we have a river behind us here today, and this is one of many rivers that goes into Lake Superior where we get our drinking water. And this pipeline will jeopardize that, puts that all at risk. And we know that the rewards of this pipeline aren't going to be seen or felt in our communities. And so what's the risk for so little reward? So I would like to see communities getting together, talking about the risks, and putting a stop to this project. We've seen some great examples of how local direct democracy, civil action, getting together, grassroots movements that have already put a delay on this project. We saw the people in Kakuna, Quebec, there was intended to be a port built at that city, and they said, you know, we have the St. Lawrence River here, we have a critical beluga whale habitat where they come and they breed, and this is part of our culture. This is who we are as Canadians. This is something we value, and we don't want to have huge tankers coming in here and risking that and throwing off the cycles. And so the people in that town came together in thousands and were in the streets. And you know, this TransCanada has put a delay on their project for 2 years. So they're still putting a ton of effort. They still want this project to go through, but I think that 2-year delay is a win for people, because as long as we can push this project delayed, I mean, the closer it is to, in my opinion, is that it's not going to go through. And I think now is a critical time when we see the price of oil that has fallen, is a critical time when we need to be transitioning. Let's take this opportunity where it's not so profitable to making money off of bitumen and other dirty energies like fracking and coal, and let's subsidize green energy. Let's get that transition to low carbon economy happening today. Where we're standing today is we are behind one river, but across Canada this pipeline will go under many rivers. In fact, every single river in our whole country, this pipeline will, not our whole country, but you know, I cut that part out, but this pipeline puts so many of our water systems and watersheds and rivers at risk. And not too long ago, we could see the rivers flowing quickly, but not too long ago it was frozen. So in the winter, that creates a lot of difficulty in cleaning up these oil spills, because we know if there's a spill underwater, the bitumen will sink and you're going to have a frozen layer. In Lake Superior, we see ice is deep. So if we were to clean that up, it's a disaster waiting to happen, and I don't want to see that in my lifetime. I think there's people in Thunder Bay who are working on this, and people can go online and do some research and find out how to connect with us. We have been working with City Council to get them to pass a resolution just coming out and making a symbolic statement against it, because you know, every community that comes out is another obstacle for TransCanada. It's another event and statement that is creating awareness, and more people are becoming aware of the risks of this pipeline. So talking to your friends, if you hear people talking at coffee, family dinners, you don't have to be in the streets protesting. If you want to, come, great. Well, the more people, the bigger impact, the more politicians will have to listen, and we can make it so this project doesn't have the social license in this country. And I think we are going that way. Recently, this is maybe not to be recently there was something on the radio yesterday about how the oil industry is saying, I think they recognize that people who support oil industry, he said, are people who are working every day, and they're not the people in the streets who are the loud vocal minority. And so they're encouraging people at table family dinners to start talking about how oil's great, and we need it for our clothes and our shoes and our lifestyles, and we need to give better lifestyles to people in Europe and Asia so they can have this fossil fuel. It's a great opportunity for Canada. So start encouraging, don't let these people who are opposing it have the microphone, and let's talking like the regular Canadians. But it was so absurd to hear that CAP, the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers, are out there trying to tell people to start lobbying, because I think they're seeing this shift in the public discourse, and people are saying, you know what, this is ridiculous, this project is reckless, and I think it's coming to light, and people are starting to recognize that.